Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the match preview. Everton versus Leicester City, FA Cup, third round. The excitement begins, Baz, as it always does. It's like the first game of the season, but no. It's the first game of the FA Cup for us.
And Leicester.
Strange game, isn't this one? We only played them like a couple of weeks ago, Boxing Day, 2-0 victory. Leicester having... I'm not surprised by the season Leicester are having. I'm really not. They won the Premier League last season, to everyone's obviously surprise and blah blah blah. Doing the Champions League, there was always going to be, I felt, this because I just thought last season every single one of them was playing at the absolute maximum, and they had a good start and they just carried it on, and they played in a way that no one really sort of respected in a way. No one ever went, we need to stop them playing. They all just went, yeah, just let them get on with it.
It's Leicester.
They can't be this good all season, and they wouldn't lead by 10 points or whatever it was. They've just dropped off, and as I say, but they've done really well in the Champions League. They've sort of got that enthusiasm and those performances for the Champions League, so it isn't really any surprise to me that they've dropped off this season.
Yeah, it was always going to be difficult, wasn't it? They were outstanding last season, and like you say, every player performed at a peak, and everything, went for them. It snowballed, and for full credit to them, they kept it going the whole season. It's always difficult the year later after the Lord Mayor's show and all that. They lost Kante, who was a massive player for them last season, and they haven't quite.
No, they haven't got
to grips with it at all. Well, they haven't, have they? Because the middle of the park is such. We've seen it with Ghana this year. For us, it makes a big difference having that engine in there that can get about the pitch. They haven't been able to get it going. So it's always going to be.
But it's also as well they brought players in, the likes of Slimani springs to mind, decent players, but not. If you just won the league, I suppose. They were still sort of still not respected like other teams that win the league. So very, very difficult to bring. I mean, the comparisons in a way are like when we finished fourth and we wanted to strengthen, and it wasn't that guarantee that players are suddenly going to go, well, you have qualified for the Champions League qualifiers. Well, of course we're going to sign for you. No. There's never that. People are looking past that one season thinking, well yeah, they might do alright this, they've won it, but are they going to win it next season? Are they going to win the Champions League after 2 seasons? I've got to look at. So they were aiming for those players, not the top players, the players maybe coming through, and that's been a bit of an issue. But obviously not just that, but the issues of I think the biggest issue for me is being Vardy and Mahrez have not really clicked this season at all. I think Mahrez probably within about 2 weeks of the season started probably just went, fuck, I should have gone to Arsenal.
I didn't know.
And Vardy, I don't think Vardy's got that kind of attitude, but I think Vardy may have not burnt himself out, but pushed himself right to the limit, playing amazingly last season, and also being around for England and then going to the Euros, and he's still got that window cleaning round as well. He has to keep up as well, which is it's hard. Collections on a Friday night before you got a game on Saturday, it's not easy.
With the cast on.
But they've not clicked this season.
No, Vardy's hardly scored, whereas last year he was free flowing, wasn't he? Mahrez was scoring loads last season, and he hasn't quite been at the same level. And I think you're right. I think for the likes of Mahrez, maybe not so much Vardy, although Arsenal were in big for him, and that move, he turned it down, which is full credit to him, because you want to. It's mad, isn't it? Because you want them stories in football. You want players to go, you know what, you've made me, and I'm staying. The other side to that is someone like Mahrez, who probably could have gone to, Arsenal wanted him, a couple of clubs after him. It's hard. You're made up when them clubs stay at the clubs. Them players stay at the clubs, and you think, well done. You're not getting off at the first, but you've got to then perform. Yeah, it's great staying, but if you're not going to stay,
can't let that cloud hang over you.
Don't play at the level and then go. You know what? I don't know, Mahrez. He might not even. It might not even enter. Well, there you go. Right. Well, you need Vardy at a window cleaning job, so it's sound. But you don't know whether that is in his mind and he's thinking I should have gone when he had the chance, or is he just not being able to scale those heights again? Because the first season he'd been outstanding in the Championship. He came into the Premier League when Leicester got promoted and everyone was like, this kid's amazing. And he wasn't amazing, he was just average. Then he was amazing last season, so I wonder if it's just a dip and then he's got to pick
hard to put your finger, but I think there's also that. He's been
brilliant in the Champions League, the first English team to win the first three games.
But again, though, that's the mental aspect of it, isn't it? Picking yourself. See, this is where teams that win the Premier League back to back, and I think we lived in the Man United era of winning every year, and you almost took it for granted. But you think about the mental challenge of picking yourself up, having such a hard season, and those.
They got full Rosberg on us, that we say.
They've gone what?
And Rosberg on us has just gone.
But it's
I've done it now.
Yeah,
I can't do that again.
I've packed it in, but it's almost that sacrifice for 9-10 months of the season where you're just not going to do anything else but play football and if you're a successful team and you're doing well in the FA Cup or the Champions League or whatever, it's non-stop, it's day after day, it's that pressure of having to win.
Demands you every week, got to be at my best every single week, and the best players are more often.
But that's it, isn't it? And not dropping your standards and again we've picked on.
But we've seen it with Chelsea last season. Chelsea were champions. With 15th, 16th in November and December.
It's a mental thing as well, though. It's a mental thing. You drop off, and it's almost like, but it's almost like some of them just. They want to drop off. It's almost like I can't be bothered. It's the same the way with the Chelsea. Look at them this season. A lot of those players just didn't want to play for Mourinho, and it is that human aspect of football sometimes. But then there's a physical aspect as well, because I look at Morgan and Hoof, and I just think to myself, you've been run, use journeyman players, and it all clicked at the same time. I'm not going to take anything away from that. But this season, I think in a way, they're suffering because of that long season, that intensity, that mental, the mental game of it all, and this season.
But it becomes a bind, doesn't it? They were started. Don't forget, they started last season 5,000 to 1. They stayed up.
Were they 5,000 to 1?
5,000, I believe so. Someone said, I don't really know much about it, but they'd stayed up. With a couple of weeks left. An incredible run because I think they'd lost twice from Christmas to the end of the season. Stayed up when they were down. They looked dead and buried. They came into the season just made up to be in the Premier League. Got a great start, and then everything started falling into place. They were winning after win after win. The confidence was there. This season as champions, everyone wants to beat them because the champions, they lose a whole day one. And then the next minute you're like, oh, we've hit a bit, and then they draw a couple of home games and get bit, and then before you know it, you're in the wrong end of the table, and it takes 5, 6, 7 wins on the run to get you in that top half, and they haven't been able to do it, and they're lying 14th at the moment. They're 6 points off Sunderland, they were third bottom. So they're not out of relegation by any means, saying they'd go down, but they're looking over the shoulder going, my God, if we get beat the next game and they win, it's a win between, and that mentally drags you down.
And I suppose a lot of their, do you know what, in a weird way, this will sound a bit of a perverse thing, but the Champions League group, I don't necessarily think it's done them any favours, because alright, you look at it and go, oh, they've done brilliantly, they've won the group and they're through, but they never played anyone, and it's almost that thing of, if I got that one chance to be in like the Champions League or whatever, I'd want to play one boss team, just have that one boss experience of going to.
But they might get that.
No, well, they've got Seville, haven't they? And Seville are going to batter them. I don't give a monkey's what anyone says. Seville are boss.
Well, there you go. There's their big game. Seville.
But is that a big game? Is that a big game?
Well, obviously they would have liked Bruges, whoever else they had, someone else who was.
Wouldn't you like that one big game? Yeah, wouldn't you like that one big game? Barcelona, Nou Camp, Real Madrid.
Give yourself. I'd like Bruges as well, and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You have them, and you have that one big game. You go, we'll get through. We'll get through a second.
Because as long as we've been a second. But I don't listen. Who's to say that they won't beat Seville? You can sit here and go, they shouldn't beat Seville because Seville are brilliant and Leicester aren't performing. Last year, you might have said
it's not a match preview for.
No, what Seville, I'm saying, if you just look at Leicester, they've got something to look forward to in the second half of the season. It's Champions League. Listen, we'd be made up as Everton to have that. So who knows?
But
for us and for this game,
we've got to be.
It's a game that we should be looking to win.
Yeah, we've got to be on this, haven't we? Because I've said, at home, third round of the FA Cup, we've got to be putting everything to this. We dicked about with the League Cup, which I said at the time, I said before the game, we shouldn't have done that. We should have got in that with our strongest team and been able to win that as our number one target at the time, because at the time, and that's the great thing about the two cup competitions, they only overlap for 3 weeks or something like that, or a month or whatever. That they are very separate competitions, and you should take them as the most important thing at the time if you're not going to win the league, or you're not in Europe. We dicked about with that when we shouldn't have. We went out, that started that downward spiral, and we've got to throw everything at this, because if we go out early in this competition, you look at that gap between us at the moment and Manchester United, and you think that is a hell of a ask to get in that top 6, and it can be a long end of the season. And I know there's the prospects of new signings, but listen, we know that how can I say this without being? I'm not going to be insulting, but we're fanatics. Now there's other people who are more fanatical, who go every away game and every home game, but there's other people who are casual, who don't go, who'll go, they'll look at the end of the season and go, I might get that one a miss, and I might get that one a miss, and got someone's birthday that day and all the rest of it. Because if you haven't got a cup competition to keep you interested, or you look above you and think, well, we can't go any higher, it doesn't stimulate the club. When you stay in a cup competition, it stimulates you for the rest of the... You look at last season, as bad as it was, we always had that FA Cup. We were always in it, and even when we got beaten at Anfield, one of the worst games ever, we had the FA Cup semi-final a few days later to be excited about, to take our focus off what was happening in the league. We still had, that's what kept them in the job essentially, wasn't it? We had that focus, and if we can have that FA Cup as the side, as the little cherry on the top, as we're trying to rebuild, that'll help the process. But if that's not there, it's going to be a long end to the season for some fans.
There is that, but for the players as well, you want that. You're building, you're trying to build for Koeman as well. You want success. Players want to come in and go, who were coming in January, like, what can we go for here? Now, okay, it might work out that one of the top clubs who are going to finish in the top 4 win the League Cup. Looks like it could happen.
Yeah.
There's big clubs left in it, so that means there's a place extra down in the league. Someone might win the FA Cup if it's not Everton. We want one of the top 4 to win that. And then Europe comes to 7th place, and if we're in 7th at the moment, if we can secure that, we end up in the Europa League, which would have been the target. He's quite openly said it's the target at the start of the season. So we've got that to aim for. But having that FA Cup, why don't we just win the FA Cup and get into Europe, rather than going, well, if Man United win it, we'll qualify because they're above us. Let us do it. And we nearly done it last year and we were rubbish. So who knows? We've got in Romelu Lukaku, we've got someone who can score goals against anybody, so we've always got a chance if we can just create for them. So the players coming in, if we could get a Schneiderlin in and maybe one or two others, you build towards that, and it does. It's momentum. It kicked it. I know football's changed, but in the 80s when we went into our most successful thing, the FA Cup win turned players into winners.
Let's have a right go at these on Saturday. Let's almost pretend like it's a one-off game. I don't want to go into a replay down at their stadium.
I want
to go for it Saturday at home, 3 o'clock kick-off. I want to have a right go with them and say, let's get this done today. We get a goal up against Leicester. I get the feeling that a lot of their players will go, yeah, well, we've got Champions League in 3 weeks. Let's concentrate on that or whatever. Do you know what I mean? I get the feeling
it should mean more to us than them, because we're at home. And like you say, they've got something else, their eye on something else, and that their players will be looking for that. But for us, this is a massive game. We threw the Norwich game away. It was a joke. We can't do it again. It's a big game. The crowd needs to be at it. The players need to be at it. Let's build momentum. We just had a good win against Southampton. Let's follow that up by beating Leicester at home in the cup. And then we move on, then we go off. We might get a nice draw in the next round, or the home tie might be maybe against lower league opposition. And before you know it, you're looking and you're going deep into the competition, and you're thinking, we're on a bit of momentum, people are excited, we're playing with a bit of rhythm. Bring anyone on towards that end of that competition, but build the momentum, keep the interest going. You win, you're in something else in 3 or 4 weeks' time. The next draw, you look forward to that game.
And we don't want those weekends off either.
No, we don't need them.
Exactly.
We don't need them. It's momentum, and that's what we need. And we need games, and you know, we need to grow. This manager needs probably as many games as he can have to try and shape this side, because we want to hit the ground running next season, don't we? And this is all building. So
for me, I think we have to
listen. We want to get rid of those stupid flags that we saw at Goodison a couple of weeks ago in the derby with balloons and cakes, and it's about time. Other teams have won trophies when you looked at them and go, oh, how did they win that? You know, so, and they won it because they took every game seriously, and everyone else fell on the swords. You know, and the likes of Liverpool and United and Tottenham, who were all fighting for that the title at the moment. All that top 6 are fighting for that league title at the minute, albeit Chelsea the favourites. Let them, they might be preoccupied with that and think we need to rotate, and a couple of them could fall by the wayside as well. Let's be the team that goes, we're taking this seriously. Liverpool have done it in the League Cup to a certain extent. They're in the semis, you know, and they could quite easily win that and that'd be a trophy. And you know, we need to just go, this is what we're doing, best team, best available, get out there, get this one, and take every game seriously. And if we do that, we could have a trip back down to Wembley in April, and then hopefully we'll be going again in May, because it's been 22 years.
Yeah, I know.
This May, it's ridiculous.
I just think Saturday we just have to get at them straight away, be a real attacking lineup, none of this one up front nonsense, and have a real go at them, because as I say, it's a one-off, as you said there. It's a cup final on its own. Get at them and have a real go, and think, you know, it's that risk factor, isn't it? You know, you don't risk something of yourself. You're not going to win the game. You can't just expect to just, you know, you're not going to end the game with a point. You know, you're going to have to go and replay down at their gaff, and
these are going to turn up and want it as well. They're not going to come and go, it's FA Cup, because Ranieri might play a lot of their fringe players who were trying to get themselves in the team, you know, and we'll have to match.
And also for them, that this is the only, for me, this is the only realistic trophy they've got.
Exactly.
You know, to win. So,
you know,
so we've got to be happy, haven't we?
But it's certainly a game I'd expect us to win.
Yeah, hopefully through for the 4th round against
Stockport.
Yeah, that'll do. I don't even know if they're still in it. No, there you go.
One of those kind. What a team of that ilk will do me. That'll we can get past Leicester.
That'll do. Let us know in the comments. Are you confident for Saturday against Leicester City in the Premier League champions? It still feels weird saying that. FA Cup 3rd round. Can't wait myself. Let us know. Are we going to do it? Can we do it? Can we win the whole goddamn thing? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching Toffee TV. We'll see you later.